Okay, thank you very much. Well, it's hard to believe 25 years ago tonight, tragic news stunning our state with word of the death of Hawkeye basketball star, the legendary Chris Street.
And sports director Rick Coleman now joins us here in the studio with a look at the life of Chris Street.
It was shocking because, you know, it was hard to believe a young person so full of love and life and loved by so many people could leave us so young. Chris Street played basketball the way he lived his life, with passion and great intensity. Chris Street always believed if you give 100% effort all the time that things would eventually work out. Street made major improvements in his game every season while he was at the University of Iowa. He was considered an NBA prospect before he died that January night back in 1993. KWWL's Jalyn Soucheck spent today looking into the legacy that is Chris Street. Now she joins us live from Iowa City with the story.
Rick, 25 years ago today, Chris Street was leaving a team dinner. He was turning left here onto Highway 1 when his car was struck by a plow, and Chris Street was pronounced dead at the scene. But over time, the memory of him hasn't faded. If anything, his legacy has only grown stronger.
Iowa basketball's Chris Street was larger than life. At 6'8", Street was known by his teammates as hardworking and a leader.
Whatever people saw on the court, that's what he was off the court.
A life full of potential, all coming to an end when he was killed. But his legacy lives on in many ways. Outside the Iowa Hawkeyes locker room is this plaque, Forever 40, always honoring Street. Those that knew Chris still carry him with them 25 years later.
It's hard to believe that it's been that long, but I think the thing that's even more miraculous is the fact that everything's still so fresh.
Kenyon Murray was Street's teammate and a best friend. He now coaches at Cedar Rapids Prairie, where his sons Keegan and Chris, named after Street, play.
He's a living legacy to the friend that I had, to the teammate that I have, and so for me, Chris is a part of my everyday existence.
For Murray, the depth of Street's legacy is a nod to who he was as a person.
People felt like they knew Chris. It didn't matter if they were watching from afar, watching at home. They felt like they knew him because his exuberance and his love of the game and his enthusiasm for the game, I think, just came out to everybody. And I think he was approachable, and so people really feel like he was one of them.
Street was a player and person you wanted to be like, Murray said. And today, he still thinks that way.
For me, he's been kind of that pivot point for me, like, what would Chris do?
Murray said the rest of that season was really a fog. He only remembers the funeral, that come from behind win over Michigan State, and of course maybe one of the best Iowa basketball games of all time when they took down the Fab Five of Michigan at home. He says that was all possible because an angel was with them. Live in Iowa City, Jalyn Soucheck, News 7 KWWL.
All right, Jalyn, thank you very much.